Hello everyone, I'm your host Ankit Adwal from Output Studio Podcast. Today I have my friend Naman Vaidya. Hello Naman, how are you?
Hey Ankit, thank you for inviting me today. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a while that we have met each other and we have been known to each other since school.
Oh yes,
And
yes,
a
that's
lot
so
of
true.
time that you know many things about me and I know many things about you.
That's so true. It's been a fun run. It was great having you at school. We enjoyed our lunches together.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Let's get started if you want with more questions.
Yeah, definitely. And I have so many things to ask. Like, we know each other very well. We have been talking to after school. We went to different college. And today I have invited you because you have done and achieved so many things in life that people dream of. Yeah, don't give me this
Thank you.
reaction. I can see. Yeah, but yeah, people will get to know you. And let's start with a brief introduction:
Sure.
who you are and what you have done.
Sure. So, as you introduced me, I'm Naman, and I did my electrical and electronics engineering from Manipal University after graduating from St. Luke's. From there, I started working for a company in Delhi, where I was basically making converters, like DC converters, power converters for a company, as you all know, water purifier company, Kent RO Purifier. Then I moved on from there to do my master's from Texas A&M in US. I worked in US for almost 3.5, 4 years now, and then finally I decided to come back to India to join a startup. And now I'm an electronic lead with a startup called as Rightbot in Bangalore. That's like a brief background.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. The reason I have called you because our community is from the design community, marketers and designers, basically the creative community. But today it's very special because you have taken such decisions and your management skills are totally to the next level. I would like to know more about that so that our designers and marketers and those of our listening to our podcast can get to know how to manage things.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me begin with my school days, right?
Yeah.
We had
Like you were the topper in the class.
I was in, I don't know, but yeah, I was okay.
No, I know. You were sitting next beside me, and I know how you were in your exams, and I also know myself.
No. So yeah, keeping school apart because educate. So I always believe in one thing: education is good. Marks is something that doesn't define a person. And let me talk about, as you were asking about the management skills. So starting from school, it's a very different. I saw my parents, my dad, who is MBA teacher in YS Brahma University. So I basically observed him, saw and learned a lot of things on the management front, basically from him. I even used to write a few of his radio talks for agricultural management. So that's where I got introduced to management. It's not a wide management.
So this is why I'm talking.
Yeah.
You're totally different from what I've done.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now you said you were into so many things during your school time only.
Yeah.
And here I was coming back to school from school and playing with friends. So this is a difference.
Yeah. Somewhat. My focus was always on few things. So to be honest, I hated Hindi. Never scored more than 70 marks in Hindi out of 100.
You always complained.
Yeah.
Now.
I still complain. That's
Okay.
true. But along with that, as I went from schooling to my undergrad, that's where the real challenge came in. Because in my undergrad, I didn't score that well in my first or second term because it was very bad. My management was awful. As you said, I was playing all day long, not able to study, and that's where I lagged behind. But in my second year, I joined a very interesting project. This was for building a nano satellite.
Okay.
And we basically collaborated with ISRO. I basically met Dr. Srinivasan from ISRO a couple of times, I think so. And we even presented the whole presentation for our systems to him. So we basically started, I basically started as an electrical engineer for that group. And that's where I learned how to manage small teams. So that's where my startup experience, you can say, like in my school, in my second year, we all came together as students and started a project. But in that, I learned a lot about management.
Okay. Before getting into this, your project, startup project in your second year, let's get a little back.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't want to jump into how you get your things done. It's like, let's start. You finish your school and how you chose your college.
Sure.
Yeah, you got selected in Manipal University.
Yep.
It's a very renowned university, a deemed university, which is not only popular in India as well as overseas.
Yep.
It has a very good name, a reputed university. So how you got selected for that?
Sure.
So after board exams.
Yeah.
We were asking not the, I have a very different scenario. I have opted for diploma. So but those students who have done their plus two, 12th, so mostly they say where their friends are going, but you have chosen a different path.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely
so true.
Different.
That's so true. I went to Manipal with 0 friends.
Yeah.
And so let me start. Yeah. So how I selected Manipal?
Yeah.
Because
as you know, their selection procedure is totally different and
yes,
hard to crack.
As you know, we were all preparing for IIT, JEE, AIEEE, and I don't know, BITS Pilani. And that's where I realized, I think so, in my 12th grade, that IIT is something that I won't be able to crack. And then AIEEE was something I was backing on. But, you know, it's 2.5 lakh people attempting one exam that will select around 50,000 people. I don't, numbers might vary, but yeah, something around that. So I knew it was a tough challenge. So I started figuring out some private universities because I discussed with my parents, first of all. So I knew that my career path, even after non-med, like taking non-medical in school, could have been different. Like I could have chosen up doing a law. I could have chosen up doing other various fields, which are like doing phenomenal right now. But my parents saw what my potential is. So they figured out that I could be a successful electrical engineer. Okay. And so that's where we started figuring out the universities based on their curriculum. So you need to see who has the best curriculum, because every university can teach you the stuff. But the curriculum and the teachers out there are the one who train you for the future. Okay. So that's how I basically started looking into universities, figuring out which university, if not NITs, because NITs obviously have the best professors, IIT have the best. After them, who will choose me, or like where I would be able to stand myself out of in the world. Okay. Yeah. So, like you indulge your parents in your decision. Yeah. And they were the one who gave you advice. Exactly. So this can be related to the designing system also. If you have completed your 12th, your example is perfect. Like indulge your parents in this, they will guide you. At least you should tell them what you want exactly. If you are belong to the creative community, you should know or do a proper research. Which are the design schools they can opt for? So that's so true. So I believe in involving my parents. Like at that time, I didn't know much about the world than what they knew about it. And both of them were from educational field. Okay. So that gave me an edge of discussing with them all the different opportunities. Like if I'm not deciding on becoming an engineer, what is my other path that I can take on? Okay. So those were also other like things that we discussed, because my parents didn't believe in like just choosing one path as a profession. Like they were not fixated on being an engineer. Okay. Yeah. They because both of them, my mom is basically an agriculture scientist, and my dad is an MBA teacher. Like, he's a professor for MBA. So both of them come from a very different background. Yes. So that's why they were like, choose what best suits you, and that's where always help, like coming here with your parents, deciding with them, talking with them helps. Because at 18 you don't know much, to be honest. Yeah, definitely. Okay, and you got selected to Manipal. Yeah. And you said that
you have spent your first 2 semesters enjoying.
Yeah.
It was more like an enjoyment, or how was the experience?
So, going to a new university, I would say going from Solin, which is like a small, cozy town, to a university filled with students from different experiences, like people coming from high-end Delhi, like reputed families, coming from Mumbai, who is more exposure than us, and other Bangalore's, like cities like Bangalore. All those students, when combined together in a small location, you see a blast of exposure.
Okay.
And for the first 2 semesters, I think so, I was just getting that exposure.
Okay.
Getting those small wings coming out of my back. I was flying in the air, enjoying every moment I could, except for studies. That's true. And just relaxing, chilling. Because if you look at Manipal has 2 beaches, beautiful 2 beaches, where I have spent most of my first year.
And a lighthouse too.
And a lighthouse too, yes. Malpe Beach has a lighthouse where we spend most of our time. I love beaches.
Yeah. And it's like we belong to Surin, which is a very small town.
Yeah.
Now it's getting bigger. But at that time it was very small. And a person from Solon to Bangalore, it's like we are going to some foreign country.
Exactly.
It's a huge city. And the people, mind, exposure, culture is totally different.
Yeah.
And we get to know a lot of things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, as you were talking about management, right? So these small things also teach you a lot about your management skills. How you manage different people. Because when you go to Karnataka has Kannada as their main language. So you would have to adopt to few things out there. Like I still remember after my swimming lessons, I used to go and eat a banana. So we already knew, like, we have to ask him, Vandu Urdu. Urdu means two. So we learned like the basic features so that we can communicate with, at least I can communicate with the localites, and they feel more comfortable talking to us.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are like few management tricks which I feel we learn along the way as we proceed in our life.
Okay. So where you are going, you have, or you should know some at least few words so that you can communicate with the localites.
Exactly. It always helps. I mean, you won't be able to speak as fluently as them, but saying a few words might give them comfort and explain what your thought is.
And the smiling face.
Exactly. Yes.
And a person outside your community is coming and talking to you, having a conversation, and they also feel good.
Yes. And to be honest, Karnataka is a very welcoming state. I never felt out of house in Karnataka. I made so many friends. I mean, till date, all of them text me and like we talk or video chat sometimes.
Okay.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. And now let's come to your third semester, which was totally completely changing moment for you.
Yes.
So how that part came in? Like, it's not you get a dream that next morning I will do this.
Yep.
There might be some instance which have changed you after your 2 semesters.
Sure. So there was a big instance that happened in my life. I mean, during the second semester, I started figuring out what next, to be honest, like towards the end of the second semester. Because I knew college life is coming to an end. Maybe after 2 years, but it's sooner than later. So when I saw that there is going to be a big challenge finding a job, I decided on a few things in my life. First, I need an internship.
Okay.
So I need to start preparing from my third semester to get an internship. Second thing that I looked into was, if I get an internship, I need to get it converted to a full-time. Because I don't want to compete, going back to my university, competing back and sitting in all the different companies' challenges again. I would rather choose an easy, always choose an easy path out. And that's what my thought process was. Choose a university, choose a company where I can get an internship and then convert it to a full-time job. So that was my initial thought. And that motivation basically kicked in. And as I was working on my project, that basically defined my path of becoming an electrical engineer, but in power electronics
Okay.
and control theory. So that keeps on defining yourself. So because if you look at electronics engineering, it's like a big field. You have signal processing, you have DSP, you have what do you call it, communication systems, and then power systems, another subsystem. So that's where I chose power systems and control theory as my main topics.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's how I like tune
So
myself.
it's like you were more into specialization yourself.
Exactly. I was more specialization because so it's my belief that if you have a skill set which you can tune over the years, after 30 or 35, you won't have to work a single day.
Okay.
Because your knowledge of that subject would be enough for sustaining you throughout your life.
Okay. Like I also believe the same thing.
Yeah.
If a person can speak on one topic, he can talk a whole day or say 20 more things on the same topic. He would be like, I will call him a genius.
Exactly. So that's what I believe in. Like, if you look at all the different like examples, like so right now my examples keep on changing. So right now my favorite person in the world is Elon Musk because he has achieved so much from being a zero to a hero. I would say it like that.
Correct.
And similarly, like Einstein, who was a dyslexic, has achieved so much. Like we still remember him till date, and that was just his topic in physics was his main like achievement.
Correct.
So that's what I believe. If I can do something, I mean, not as big as them, but something even in a smaller phase in my own domain, I'll have achieved something in the end of the day.
Yeah. And like you were saying, you were into power systems, building things. You told me once that you were building chips.
Yes.
The main thing which is used in the satellite. Yeah. So how was that?
So let me differentiate that. I think I never explained it properly. Yeah. So I'm basically integrator, so like a system engineer.
Okay.
So I use the chips that are developed by other engineers into my system, and so for me the major challenge, like in a satellite, I was basically designing the power system. So power system basically has a battery. Let's take the most important thing, because if you don't have a battery, your satellite will fail one or the other time. And I was basically controlling the charging parts and operating the battery, the other subsystems that were involved in the satellite. So designing them is another challenge, because when we think of in our school days, we only think about oh yeah, this chip will be used and this will what the output will be. But when you start utilizing it in a practical scenario, you see more challenges coming into picture, and that teaches you a lot of things. When you physically do it and when you read something, it's completely different. And once I started like building up stuff, like making my own PCBs, soldering them down, converting the ideas in my brain to a real life system that we are using is an next level challenge, I would say. And every engineer or as a student, every student should do it. So whatever you learn in school, just try implementing a small portion of it over the weekend. I don't say every day, but at least over a weekend and a couple of weeks, you'll be able to see what you've learned. Okay. That's what I believe in engineering. That's why like you learn and you implement.
Yeah, correct. Let me take a break.
Sure.
It's like all our listeners is to the designing field.
Yeah.
And we both are technical.
Yeah.
So I can understand, but stay tuned. This will definitely give you a lot of value, like from your schooling, how you implement things, how you take your decisions. This will definitely help. Okay, because we both belong to the technical field. We have done something different. Okay, you have gone to a different university. I have gone to a different university. Now you have came back to US, and both the journey of ours is like you are having 8 years of experience. Similarly, I'm also having this much of experience. So from our experience, you will definitely learn something. And please stay tuned. This is all what I can say right now. So, Naman, coming back to you, you have set up a research center in Manipal University.
Yes, so it was a team effort setting up like a small research center. Yes, we there were many hands that came into picture. Many students asked their parents about like how they can help us. So I still remember one of my colleagues, Kiran. His father was working for Lenovo, and he asked his father to like sponsor us for at least the desktops. So we got those kind of sponsorships from like different parents who can support us.
So you are taking names like ISRO,
Yeah,
Manipal University.
yeah,
Now comes the Lenovo.
yeah.
And I also remember a conversation when you have met your HOD and asking for the funds.
Oh yes.
It was like 1 crore.
So yes, that's so true. See, so we basically, so our project engineer, our managers like Kanika Garg, she along with few of us went to our vice president of Manipal, and basically showed them the work that we're doing, and he was impressed. Apparently, he was like, "Oh, you're building a nano satellite for Manipal University,"
Okay.
and that was the day when, for the first time, our HOD called us and like he was like, "Hey, you guys have achieved something good because Manipal has decided on putting 1.5 crore in your project."
Okay. And what was the expectations? Like you were.
So we went with an expectation for somewhere around 70 lakhs. We were like, give us a space for setting up our some small space with 70 lakhs because obviously we need to buy components and no one is going to give us components for free.
Okay.
And there's going to be travel involved, like traveling to ISRO, Bangalore. There's going to be stay for students. So all the costs involved came into picture. We all sat and then decided on a number, which we thought was good enough. But then I think so with the help of the accountants from like Manipal, they figured out like that was too less, and they basically gave us more money, which helped us basically set up that research center. Where we have our own rooms. We basically got best facilities in the world. We got our own lab. Like we were part of the lab, building it from scratch, seeing how the tables needs to be built from electrical grounding to getting all the mats, putting up antennas. So that was the best experience, I would say, like setting up a whole new lab as a student. Because typically, sometimes bigger companies come into your colleges and they set up labs for you. This was a student setting up their own labs for other students.
And so this is why you are different. Like what I was doing in college or what others are doing in college, attending classes, there might be few people who will be doing something extra, but 70 to 80% will be attending classes, coming back to their rooms, hostel rooms, or going to the PGs, and then watching movies. But you were doing something different. You were thinking, how would I get the funds from the college? Like you were preparing your research, and calculating the funds which will be required to set up a whole proper lab.
Yes.
And I've seen your picture, and there was like mala kind of thing. It's written as research lab.
That was a good achievement, I would say. I mean, we used to attend the same classes. I still remember going 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening, taking half an hour breaks, like eating a samosa or like just eating some snacks from the cafeteria, and we were running back to the labs.
How many people you were?
So I basically grew up my team to 4 people towards the end. But overall, we were like around 25, 30 people working on the project because you have all the different subsystems in the same project.
But initially, it was being set up by you and the other people.
So initial setup was 10 people that start. So as I said, Kanika Garg was the main head or idea behind the whole thing. And then she recruited us along the way, and we were like the one who then started the whole project with her.
And how you were in your studies?
I was, so first, second year, I would like to not even mention my secret. But after that, things picked up.
Okay.
Things picked up in a very different way because uh, I was going to a lab and whatever I learned, let's say a small circuit that I learned in my school, I was doing an advanced version of that in my lab.
Okay.
So even if my professor asked me how to solve it, I was like, I know how to do it. Even in my lab. So if you compare our labs, so they go from basics to your advanced versions. We were doing advanced, and then we were being introduced to basics.
Okay.
So the basics were looking like a piece of cake.
Okay.
So after second year, it was becoming much easier, and we were able to pick up on our studies with that project too. And to be honest, my daily routine was something like this: 8 to 5 is my universities, half an hour break. I remember 6 to 12 at night we used to work on the project. At 12 we used to go back if we can. Some days we were like working all night. Early in the morning we would just ask my roommate to get a brush and my face wash, and just right down there we used to wash and like do our brush and run to our classes.
Okay. And you were like pushing your limits because working so much and then concentrating on your studies also.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah, it was hard, but we were looking at the bigger picture, all of us.
Okay.
So the bigger picture means we were looking at a satellite which was saying Parikshit, 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 roaming around the earth. And for us, that was a big achievement. I would say that was the bigger picture. And also that was shaping our careers in one or the other way.
Yeah, at that time the main aim was to build a satellite
Yes.
who will be revolving around the earth.
Yes.
So this is like totally different.
Yes.
Different.
Yeah, and we were thinking in terms of other things. So our payloads were different. So we were thinking. So we already like if you read about space, we have a lot of space debris.
Okay.
So we were discussing how we can reduce space debris. So one of our colleagues even went to NASA.
Okay.
For doing a zero-G testing on our satellite.
Okay.
So that was an amazing experience for him as well as for our team. Yeah, we collaborated with Australian space centers. I still remember. I think so. We also have South African Space Center as our collaboration.
Okay.
So we were on a rampage at one stage. We all were like, "This is the ultimate thing that is going to come out."
Okay. See, NASA, South Africa.
Yeah. And also we got to present our work. We went to China to present our work.
Yeah.
Many of us went out there. We enjoyed, I think so. I went for the presentation a single day, and rest of the time I was just roaming around China.
Okay, and you went 2 times?
I went, so after joining companies, yes, I've gone one more time.
Okay.
But for my university, I just went once.
Okay.
Somewhat money from my university, rest from my parents.
At that time, college time, the only source of income is our parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I learned a few more things. So there were students who had other sources of income.
Like?
So people were doing different stuff. Like there was a student who was building PCBs. So we used to have a tech fest.
Okay.
So in that tech fest, we needed some PCB build-ups. So that student was building PCBs for other students, getting them manufactured, selling them off.
Okay.
There were students who were getting involved in business ideas at that time. There were, I still remember one of the very successful entrepreneur in my batch. He is right now doing a 3D printing startup. Sorry, I don't know if I can call it a startup, but he started it in Manipal, went to Hyderabad. Now he has an establishment in US too. So so now that was like a big leap, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, your friend circle is totally different from mine at that time.
Yeah. Somewhat. It just keeps on happening like that.
Yeah. Because Manipal at that time was which year?
So I graduated in 2014.
2014.
So 2010 to 2014 was my batch.
Yeah.
So that was the thing. And in my third year, we got the big news that Crackdown. Satya Nadella, our alumni, was rewarded as CEO of Microsoft.
Okay.
And then Rajiv Suri was the CEO of Nokia at that time.
Okay.
So suddenly there was a change in the drift because people started recognizing Manipal because students from Manipal, even the older batches, were coming up into the field.
Okay.
Yeah, and that motivated us a lot because that showed the world that there is some potential in Manipal.
Okay. So like after graduating, I met you.
Yeah.
Near my house only, and we were discussing. Like I was confused after my graduation. What should I do? And I met you, and you were saying that. Do you know about DFDs and how to make a decision? And you explained me very nicely that I still remember. Like make a chart, start with obviously start, and then look around. What are the best possibilities? If it is yes, with in which way it will take you. If it is no, then come back.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Sure. So yeah, that I think so. I still follow that chart.
Yeah.
Even to make any small decision, it helps me. Like, let me give you a simple example. If you have to buy a table,
Okay.
right? So you can now it's easy. You go to Amazon, select the table you like, and go. But you can follow that chart in such a way, like see the pros and cons. What's your room size? What size table you need? And similarly, you will have like a chart built up, which will define you or give you a decision on what shape table, what design of a table, what are your requirements, what is your budget,
Okay.
and you don't have to spend a minute on Amazon after that. You just have to use the filters by Amazon, put your details, and you'll get what you want.
Okay, and the exact dimension
Yeah.
the same.
Exactly.
And at that time also you were saying, do keep your parents in the loop.
Yes. Parents are always important. I always believe in one thing. Even if it's not your parents, there should be someone, a mentor in your life. Like for me, my parents were my mentor. And over the years, I've grown, I've involved with different mentors. But parents are very important mentors to me because there's one thing which I learned. You can ask a friend, he will have a different opinion, but there can be some biasness in his words, somewhere. May or may not be. I'm not saying it's going to be true. But your parents are always going to think in your favor because they are not going to get anything out of you. In the end, they're always going to give whatever they have to you. So that's why I thought, like, whenever I needed a biased opinion, like I don't need anyone judging me or something, talk to your parents.
Okay.
Easiest way out.
But I'm asking this because sometimes you talk to your parents and they don't understand.
Yes.
Like when I started my own business, my mom was doing that. I always wanted to do something related to business, but I was not sure. And after completing my engineering, there was an career option for going a job as a software engineer. This was different, but I have heard this. Many parents come to me, my kid is saying I want to go for the animation or want to do the engineering or want to pursue his dreams in the as a chartered accountant and various other fields. But it's the opinion of the parents that they should opt for the doctor, engineers, and a reputed thing. They don't consider designing field as very high paying. It's a very high paying job if you know how to negotiate with the clients.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let me put it like this. Let me put two thoughts of mine in the picture. First, parents have been influenced. Our parents' generation is influenced by a lot of talks done in the public. I'm going to say they're influenced by the public talks.
Yeah.
So they do not understand what the next phase of life will be. So let me give you a simple example. If artificial intelligence, let's say, takes over the world tomorrow. When I say take over, it's not literally taking over like a Terminator.
But it's coming. It's coming in the near future.
Yeah, it's coming in near future. A painter will have a more value than an engineer. Because being a painter, you'll have a unique, you'll have a handcrafted experience. And your product or whatever the painting he has made cannot be it can be recreated by AI, but it won't be unique. So that unique talent is something that we need to now focus on with AI, ML all coming into picture.
Okay.
So parents need to stop thinking about what the community will think, but what is good for his or her child.
Mhm.
Because I would say two things. No one has asked me what my 12th grade marks will be
Mhm.
from the day I have graduated. I mean, yes, they asked me the day the results came in or a week after that. After that, no one has asked me
Yeah.
what my 12th grade marks will be or my 10th grade marks will be.
Correct. Correct.
Till date, I've switched a couple of companies. No one has asked me what my CGPA or where I've studied from. I mean, obviously, there's a background check, but apart from that,
That is for the HR
yeah,
only.
that's only for the HR. Apart from that, no one has ever asked me. Even during my job, they were like, "Oh, you know how to do this? Good. We don't care what your marks were. Even if you had failed 10 courses in your school time or in your colleges, if you can do this, you are unique,
Mhm.
and we need you."
Okay.
That's what the company thought process is. It's not what the marks verify. I would say marks are needed for you to clear the setting process at least in India for clearing your entrance exams for your companies.
Mhm.
So yes, a good mark will always give you a better opportunity to go to a bigger reputed companies,
Mhm.
but it's not the end.
Yeah, definitely. It's not the end. It's always like what's next.
Exactly. What's next?
Yeah. So yeah, and like after your graduation, you got selected to. I won't say this. You say this. Where you got selected?
So, so I was working for Deltron at that time. It's a company in Chandigarh. And that time, I had one thought in my mind that I know about power electronics, but I'm not getting enough taste of power electronics and control theory.
Mhm.
So I basically applied to universities in US
Mhm.
with one thing in mind that the universities that I choose need to be good. And again, it all depends upon the coursework. So, and which university is better. So I chose a university which had a good coursework for power electronics and control theory, which apparently I got selected into Texas A&M.
Okay.
I keep this as a disclosure. I applied for 6 different universities in US,
Okay.
got rejected from 5, and only got accepted in 1.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. It only has to click once. I would say like that.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
so it clicked. I went to US, started my journey in US. Now that's another new beginning.
Yeah.
No friends.
Mhm.
Everything's new, and now it's a whole new country with everything starting from being a child to being a grown up out there. It's all accumulated in 2 years of your education.
So it's like Solon boy
Yeah.
to Karnataka in Bangalore, and then coming back to Chandigarh to Delhi,
Yeah.
and now living the whole country and going to a newer place that is US.
Yep.
So, applied to 6 universities but got rejected from 5 and got selected in 1.
Yep.
And US is like I can totally understand in Bangalore, Manipal University, you will be getting people
Yeah.
who belong to the same community, India,
Yep.
from different states. But in US, the kind of exposure you will be getting is like many people from different countries having different culture. So the exposure that you have got is like
Oh yeah.
it's like on a what is the proper word?
On next level.
No, it's so simple. Yeah, next level. I guess.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive.
yeah, it's massive. That's so true. So I was 25 when I left this country, and at 25 you have new wings.
Yeah.
I was earning.
And now your wings have been like grown. a
Yeah,
lot.
I mean they're in a comfort position now. They know what is needed for me.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I said at 18, my wings didn't knew what direction they have to fly,
Mhm.
and they were just flying in the direction that was fun.
Mhm.
At 25, they knew what was needed, and they were directing me now. in the direction of my dreams.
Okay.
So I went to New York. Like for the first time, I landed in New York. That was a massive city. I mean, I, I've seen Delhi, I've seen Chandigarh, Bangalore, all like different cities in India. But when you go to New York for the first time, it's a whole new realm, I would say. Looking at the skyscrapers,
Yeah.
like visiting your like location where all the movies was like filmed. It's a new experience.
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed, I would say. I never thought like I would be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from New York, I went to Texas where my schooling started.
Your master's basically.
My master's where it started. Now, education in US is very different from education in India. So in India, we spend like 8 to 5 in our universities.
Okay.
In US, I only had like one course per day, and I only had like 3 courses, which would be like divided over the whole week. And the main focus out there was on research. So I was doing my thesis out there too. So
Okay.
I chose a topic on autonomous cars because I knew autonomous cars going to be the next big thing. So I chose a topic on autonomous cars, building a lane-changing operation for them.
Okay.
So their focus is more on practical approach rather than theoretical approach.
Okay.
Yeah. Whereas India is more on theoretical approach than
The practical approach.
approach. But I would say in our undergrad, that helped me a lot because I was prepared for a theoretical approach. So no matter what happened in my master's university, all my theories were at par.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, why you have not asked any of your friend in this case? I'll tell you my reason.
Yeah.
But I want to know yours.
Sure. Go ahead.
No, first start. You start.
So-
I'll tell mine.
Yeah. So when I had a few friends, like you know about Himanshu.
Yeah.
Himanshu.
He's the
Yeah, he-
AIEEE cracker number 1.
Yeah. AIEEE number 1, IIT
Yeah,
5
he
or
was-
second. I don't remember.
IIT
Yeah.
first.
I-
IIT first.
Yeah. So
AIEEE he ranked 1 all over India.
yeah, and IIT second.
IIT second.
Yeah,
IIT
because
second.
yeah. So I still talk to him, but yeah, it's been on and off. But I never asked a friend because I don't know. I had a guide already in my mind. Like my parents were guiding me. Then I had a mentor I met a mentor. So he's been guiding me since then
Okay.
in my career. He's been like giving me advice, like this is what's good for you. And that I think so. That's why I never like thought about like discussing with my friends, but my friends have been a very important part of it because they basically help me like decide on other things a lot. Like if you not only think about career, but let's say your housing. if in US you don't get a proper house, it's a pain. I mean, there were houses with, like, to be honest, let me give you a true scenario of US. Some people come to US to study. Some of them just think about earning.
Yeah.
And
And mostly,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, mostly Indian parents think, even when my brother went to US,
Yeah.
and they were saying, study, okay. This was mentality got changed when he got to US. They said, you do study also, but at the same time, do something from where you can earn.
so that is very true. So let me give you this example. So in US, when you're a student, you're only allowed to work on campus. If you work off campus, that is basically doing illegal stuff, under which scenario you can be deported out.
Right.
So students still do it. It's not healthy. I would say not safe. But some of them have been caught. Some of them, most of them are like good, and they've achieved a lot. So, and I've seen students staying 6 people in one bedroom house. it was an awful situation. I never thought how they lived.
Mhm.
But yeah, like one bath for 6 people, it's tough.
Yeah,
So I've seen that scenarios too. But fortunately for me, I got a job on campus, so I was able to get my own place
okay.
in order with my friends. Like 3 bedroom house, 3 people. It's good enough.
Yeah, it's like US life is totally different.
Yes.
What we have imagined.
Exactly, because you can think like this, right? In India, your parents can support you. Let's say even if they send you 1 rupee, that rupee is rupee.
Yeah.
When they send it to US, that value degrades by 70 right now. At my time, it was somewhere around 55, but right now,
55 to 60, it's now
Yeah.
currently 75.
yeah, exactly 75. So it degrades by 75.
Mhm.
So 1 rupee, 1/75 is what you're getting in US
Mhm.
if your parents send a rupee.
Okay.
So that is pennies
Mhm.
in US. So your parents can't support you in US
Correct.
that much. So you have to take a big loan from India, go to US, study, get a job, pay off that loan,
Mhm.
and then start living a life,
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
which takes a long time, but yeah, it's fruitful in the end, I would say.
And this was the one thing. What is the another? You said two things.
Oh yeah. So for my friends, right?
Yeah, for the friends.
Yeah.
For the friends only.
The second, I think so. My parents have been like always guiding me, like as we have been discussing from the start to the end.
Correct. Correct.
So I think so. They have been there, which I think so is the second point. If not, then we can discuss later.
Yeah, and at some points after especially after your graduation, everyone looks for their own, and this is the reality. Okay, even my friends were looking for what they have to do.
Yeah.
I was looking for what I have to do.
Yeah.
And this is very natural, and you have to understand this thing.
Oh yes.
Friends will stay with you forever. They will not go anywhere.
Yep.
But at the same time, you have to look for yourself. You have to be selfish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's your career. You have now you have some responsibilities. Your families. One decision will be very crucial, and you have to take that decision.
Yep. That is so true. So I always say it like I'm a selfish guy. You can ask me for advice. I'll give you an advice selflessly. But if you ask me to follow you, I might think about myself before following you.
Obviously, I can.
And that I think so is what the norm of this world is.
Correct.
Everyone does the first thing for themselves and then they think about the rest.
And it's good to be selfish.
Yeah. I mean, yes. Even I believe the richest man in the world is selfish because first he earned it for himself and now he is able to donate.
Yeah. At least achieve something.
Yeah.
In which you can survive. You can take the hopes of your parents, your family, get some savings, and then help.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
okay. First, I would like to divide this in stages. First, do something on your own. Look out what you're good at. Okay, and then when you are stable financially or like financially, obviously, and then decide what you want to do. You can go for the charity. You can open your if you're into business.
Exactly.
Look for your company first.
Yes. So that is the right process. I mean, I would say think what is best for you first. I mean, you and your family, and then take the next steps.
Correct.
Because ultimately, no matter what happens, it's a saying I've been hearing it for long now. No matter what happens, your family is the one who will stick with you till the end.
Yes, I totally feel in this.
Your friends and family are the one who will stick with you till the end.
So, and talking about the friends, like we met after a huge gap interval. You just came from the US. And there are other friends also who are working in a very reputed companies. Some of them are working in the MasterCard, Cognizant, in the creative field. Some are working in the movies. Like yesterday only, I was talking to my friend. He's working on a film which will be released by Disney.
Okay.
So I have that kind of friends, and I know they are with me. Whenever I will call them, they will pick my phone and we'll have a good chit chat.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we all need, right? We always need a moral support.
Yeah, correct.
And they are our, like you can say, they are like our backbones.
Yeah.
Whenever we know, whenever we need them, they'll be there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
And now let's come back to you. You were in your doing masters.
Yeah.
You got a job.
Yes.
Like all your decisions were giving you fruitful results.
Yeah, some of them weren't. It was not always a smooth path, I would say. There were times when I was struggling. I mean, I did my overall course in 2.5 years, where I could have completed in 2 years. But there were times when my thesis was not giving me results. My results were not coming in. There were times when I was sitting in my house applying for jobs daily, like 50 to 100 jobs, and no response was coming in. So everyone faces challenges. I believe, like everyone has their own demons to face some or the other day.
So how you like? What was your mental level at that time? Like when you were facing challenge, and it was like not on a single day, 2 day, but every day you were like getting frustrated. How you cope up with that?
Sure. So it's hard. It's hard to stay positive at that point. Like some days are so hard that you just sit there, you think like, oh, today's the end. I don't know what I have to do. I might have to pack my bags and go back to India without achieving anything in US. And those days, the one motivation I had was, no matter what happens, I'll give my 100% till the day they report me.
Okay.
So that one motivation of like, no matter what happens, always like give me a push.
Okay.
So once a person leaves the thought, like the fear behind of like, let's see what happens, or like jo hoga dekha jayega, that kind of attitude just kicks into you. Things just start falling into picture.
Like a rugby team says, no matter how strong the opponent is, I will push that person back. So that's the same approach I took. Like I was like, let's do it a day at a time. Take a step, one step at a time, no matter what happens. So I would have applied. So my friends at that time were getting jobs. I mean, it's now we are coming back to friends. To whom we have left. And seeing them that they are placed in a very good university, or they doing very good in their life, but we don't know what are their struggles.
Exactly.
So
everyone has their own demons.
We don't know how they have reached their, what were the struggles, but it's deep in our heart. We know, yes, it's not right.
That is so true. So, I still remember that Three Idiots dialogue. कि अगर दोस्त फेल हो जाए तो दुख होता है, अगर दोस्त फंस आ जाए तो बहुत दुख होता है. And that is so true. I mean, I was sitting there in my room applying for jobs, and there were my friends who were inviting me for champagne because they got a job.
And you are like,
oh boy, what am I doing? So those were.
I got selected, and now I'm not getting selected. I'm struggling so hard. And
I mean, I'm happy for you, but
deep down,
I do want to murder you too.
And this is friendship.
This is friendship. I mean, I always told them on their face too, like, you got a job. I'm happy for you, but I still want to murder you till the date I don't get a job. So that's how it goes, man. But I believe in circle of life. Whatever starts has an end, and you start again. So the struggle always comes to an end, and then a new beginning comes where everything sets straight. I got a job at Cisco. Started working out there. It was fun. I made new friends. Moved from Texas to California. Made a huge. I was able to buy a Mercedes. Finally, my dream car.
The same thing when I saw your picture. Like, okay, at that time, I don't know. Like, I was having a car or not. I sold it. But you were buying Mercedes. said the same thing. You're my friend, but I still want to murder you.
Exactly. That I know that comes right. I think so. That was I was 26 and I was able to buy a Mercedes. I was like, oh damn yes.
Yeah. At 26, and I was like, I was talking to my friends. And 26, I was preparing for the banking.
Yeah, 26,
No, I have
26, 27 is when I think so.
I had 26. Yeah, I have started my own business in 2016. In 2015, I left the college. In 2016, after getting rejected to the banking sector, because I don't wanted to go there, I started my own business. And I was comparing. Now I don't compare myself.
Yeah.
But at the time, it's natural. You compare with each other, your friends.
I mean, healthy comparison is always good. But if you get obsessed with the comparison, that is bad.
Yeah,
so you did the right thing. You did compare, but it was a healthy comparison.
Like all my friends were getting from the college placements like Wipro, Cognizant, whatever big companies, big shots, you can call them. And there was you. Before going to US, we met with each other. And you were like going to US. I was happy. But you are going to US.
Yeah. That's a different scenario. Yeah.
I mean, it's a big achievement, and
So again, as I told you, everyone's selfish.
Yeah.
And I was doing what was best for me on opportunity front. And similarly, it was a nice experience in US. I learned a lot. People are very nice. To be honest, no one gets involved in your business at all in US.
That's very good.
Yeah. I mean, I could be sitting shirtless in my undies on my porch, and there'll be people passing by and saying, how's your day going? That's it.
They will not be judging you.
They won't be judging me. Whereas but I feel that is very different in India. And that is something that also supports us. Like, that gives us a sense of feeling that, yes, there is someone who's thinking about me. That always gives. So after spending good enough years in US, I was like, man, this is frustrating that no one thinks about me. Whereas in India, everyone thinks about me. So that is always a good feeling to have. Like, if someone thinks about you, you always feel like, yes, there is someone.
Okay.
And also, there's a big difference. There's a cultural difference. They have a very different culture than what we grew up in. We believe in family, we believe in bonding, and we believe in like coming together as a unit. There it was more different. They believe in the nuclear family. I mean, India is also going to nuclear family, but we still believe in one family. They are already into the nuclear family zone where each one is independent. So let me give you a simple example how US works. If I would have stayed there, let me take my example. If I had stayed there, I would have got a 2-bedroom house. I got married, I would have taken a 3-bedroom house. Once I had a kid, I would have gone to a house with 4 bedrooms. Now the kid has grown up, he's graduating, so he starts the same cycle, and now I start degrading myself. So when I say degrade, it's like from a 4-bedroom family house, I'll start going down to a 2-bedroom house because I know that my son's not going to come and live with me anymore. So that's the difference in US. Whereas in India, parents want us to live with them more and more, and which I feel is more important in this new age.
Yeah. So at 26, you were having Mercedes.
Oh, yeah.
You got an offer from Cisco. And after that?
So I was working for Cisco for, I think so it was my 7th month in Cisco. And suddenly I got a call from Bose, HR. They're like, oh, we're interested. We saw your profile and we are interested in hiring you. And that was a turning point because this was the first time a company was approaching me from outside without me applying to join them.
Okay, and that was through LinkedIn?
Sorry. Yeah, so they saw me on LinkedIn. Like, my profile was uploaded on LinkedIn and they were just checking it on LinkedIn. So my number and everything is available there. And that was a random call that I got from the HR.
The reason why I'm talking about LinkedIn right now is people don't in India. Now I know the importance, even my friends know this.
Yeah.
But it's very powerful. It's very...
Oh, yes. LinkedIn is a very big network. I mean, sitting in India, you can meet a person from US, send your resume to the person in US, and he can help you find a job in US. Let me put it like that. Not only in US, in Germany, in Australia. So those are the things. If you're talented and if they want your skill set, they will get you to that part of the world, no matter what happens. So it's all part of like the process. And LinkedIn is a very, very, very strong platform to integrate with people, to learn more about people. It's a very good platform to share your thoughts. It helps you network a lot, learn from big people, like big players in the world. They always post on, like, one was Twitter, the other I found was LinkedIn, where most of the companies post what they are doing. And you learn from them, like what they are doing and what you should be doing.
Even when I entered in my business, LinkedIn helped me a lot.
Yeah.
The leads that I converted and I got from there were very good.
Exactly.
So being in the branding part, it's like Behance, Dribble, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah.
These are the four things. But other which creative people or the branding agency can focus on is the LinkedIn.
Yes.
Be more professional.
Yes, so LinkedIn is more professional. Facebook and Insta is more on a personal front. So people might ignore you.
Yeah.
But LinkedIn is something that people know you are not bullshitting.
Yeah.
And you are basically focusing on what
what you need
to do.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I learned in like that was a very good cultural benefit I got from US. Is like they always do what is needed at that particular moment. And they always focus on the present and keep an eye on the future. They don't focus on the future and then keep an eye on the present.
Yeah.
They always work in the present. That was very good for, like, I learned from the folks in US. And they were enjoying the moment. I mean, every Saturday, I've never seen any family sitting in their houses on Saturday. Everyone would be going out and doing something like either kayaking, hiking, biking, something or the other. Each and every family does in US on Saturdays and Sundays.
Like here, and Sundays is kept for sleeping.
Exactly.
Or for the pending works. The household
works. I have, dude. To be honest, in US you can't afford a maid. I mean, I was not able to afford a maid. People can afford a maid, but let's say for me, when a maid came into my house to clean up everything, she would charge me $200. I would cry if she came every day because her monthly income would have been more than what my salary is.
Like when I was in Pune, I had two maids.
Yeah, exactly, right? Now I'm going to Bangalore, I'll have one as a cook. I will have my personal staff in my house. That's what my friends told me when I was shifting to Bangalore. So, it's a very different experience in US. But I would say everything is positive. There are a few negative things, but I would say overall, if you stay positive in US, everything works out.
Not in positive and not in the US, but in life.
In life, yeah. I mean, for me, why I came back from US, I had two reasons. One, I wanted to work on something new.
Yeah.
And secondly, I was thinking in terms of my parents. So I'm the only child. Coming from US back to India, money is not that important in the end. It's more about family. So as I've been focusing throughout our podcast, like family is very important. And that's the main reason I came back from US to India.
Yeah.
Because from Bangalore, I can take a flight. Anything happens, I can take a flight in the evening and come back home. In US, I would have to plan a flight back to India.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah,
I know this feeling. Like,
yeah,
you get. There was. Let me share an instance with what happened with me. Like, I was in Pune doing my business. Everything was fine. One day, my mom fell down, and she told me after 3 days. It was like, what I'm doing. I will earn the money no matter where I will go.
Exactly.
Even in my hometown, Solin. Like, I was getting calls from the Mumbai also. Mumbai is a very dream of cities. Yeah. You can make good contacts. In Pune, I met with two people who were having a very huge business.
Yeah.
The revenue that they were having is like 500 crores.
Exactly.
The client section that I was having, I told them that I'm going back.
Sure.
And they said, why? I said, my family.
Exactly.
My
That's
mom
what,
needs me.
that's what. That's what motivated me in US too. Like I could have earned. Let me give you. Let me put it like this, right? By the time I landed in India, I had two offers. In not only like I was working for both, but I had two offers in hand. One is from Amazon, another one is from Think Surgicals. Both the offers are exceedingly amazing.
Like, I know your package.
Yeah,
but let's not reveal
yeah,
that.
if you want me to reveal, I would go in the shop because there was a big debate on the package front, but
it was,
yeah, it was more than what I needed. I would put it like that.
yeah.
But my focus was not staying in US and earning a lot of money because ultimately it all boils down to what your family needs are. I mean, there are friends of mine who are working in US because their family needs is finance right now. So I can't compare them to because if your family needs money, you have to do what you have to do. Correct. So it's staying in US, yes, it will give you money. It will fetch you 70 times more than what it will fetch you in India.
Yeah.
Or 100 times more.
After completing your engineering,
Yeah.
and especially graduating and then doing masters, you would definitely get 6 to 7 figures dollars or more than that.
I was almost reaching the 6 figures.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, not reaching. I was
On seven.
on the high side of 6 figures.
Yeah, on the higher side. In between, you can say that you were about to reach 7 figures in dollars.
No, it would have taken time, but yeah.
Not much. Not much, I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, it was enough money, I would say.
And I had no problem in moving to, coming back to Suman because I already have my client section.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Mumbai, also from the Australia and the US also.
Yeah, for me, the major thing that happened was once I left India and I saw that Make in India scheme that came into picture, and I saw many people doing their startups. That was a different scenario because when you can become an employer versus an employee, it's a different feeling. And I wanted to see that feel, to become an owner or an employer.
Okay.
Yeah,
like right now you have taken the taste of the exposure.
Exactly.
Like from schooling.
Yeah.
To taking all the decisions for giving you the results.
Exactly.
The results that you were desiring. And now this is one thing which you haven't tasted.
Oh yeah.
Right now. And you are starting your own journey. So I can put it like this: if a freelancer or a creative person is working alone, aim high.
Yeah, I mean,
always
you can always
quit a job, start your own company.
Yeah,
it will take time. Okay, and then people will join you.
Exactly,
and they will believe in what you believe.
Yeah, there are a few things that needs to be accounted for. Like, you can aim high, but you have to be very smart.
Yeah, aim high and aim correctly.
Yeah, aim correctly. So, let me give you this. Let me put it like this. If I start a toaster business, like I say, I'm going to start a toaster business today, and I just make a simple toaster, it's not going to be sold, and my company is going to flop. But if I say I have a toaster that can take out a toast from your bread, like from the back of your loaf, it will cut it, it will take it out, it will toast it, it will spread the butter on it, and it will serve it to you. Now that is something unique, and people will buy it. So that now you have to think outside the box about what your idea needs to be. And you cannot be too futuristic. You have to keep timing in mind because consumers will wait for the newer technology to come into picture, but you can't because you have already spent out money.
Like, let's put it in a way like Apple is considered to be the game changer.
Oh yeah.
Putting 3 or 4 cameras, it's like a feature, not a game changing thing.
Oh yeah. So let me put it like this: when Apple started, right? If you look at the past, they knew what was coming. They knew we needed something in our labs, not in our houses. So that was what their vision was. And to put it correct, if you search online, Xerox was the first company to bring out computers or laptops. It was not Apple.
Yeah.
I was reading it somewhere that the Apple CEO went to Xerox, saw their designs, and basically copied it. I don't know how much truth is there in that, but yeah, it's up in YouTube. It's up there somewhere.
It's
in
not
the
like
internet.
rumors.
Yeah.
Only Apple people can confirm it.
I mean, yeah, the
I-
people
I
who can
always-
confirm it are never gonna confirm it. But yeah,
Yeah, I always say this. Don't believe in the rumors.
Yeah.
But we always talk about it.
yeah, but you can see the facts. Like Xerox was the first company to ever produce laptops, and they could have been very successful,
Mhm.
but they never followed the dream. Or you can take Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster was selling CD cases, or like your CDs to your houses. Latest movies were available at Blockbuster. 2008, it took them 3 years to kill a company. Kill $1 billion company in 3 years.
Yeah, like
Because Netflix came in.
mhm.
Now everyone is streaming online.
yeah, like Orkut got killed by Facebook.
Exactly. So something or the other comes into place. You have to always keep the timing in mind. So what is needed right now is what you have to produce.
Mhm.
So even for a startup, funding team is very important. But number one thing is timing of the product that you're creating. Is it needed? And if it's even needed after 10 years, then you're doing the wrong thing. It should be needed within 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
So even for your freelancers or someone, they have to target what is needed in 1 to 2 years if they're starting a new business, not what is needed after 10 years. Because if you target something after 10 years, someone else will create it.
Okay. So let me ask you this question. Let's suppose I'm a freelancer. Okay. People consider freelancers as like they're free, but in actual, they're in the learning process. They're not free. They consider that they will be like throwing a certain amount of money and they will accept it.
Yeah.
In fact, there might be some people, but not always. So if I'm a freelancer, I'm opening a business, a creative business. What should I do? How
So-
can you relate to this or give suggestions?
Yeah. So for a freelancer, so I'm starting up in a startup now. So it's a very different scenario for me. I'll be learning the same way as everyone is a freelancer.
Mhm.
So even though the word free comes into picture, it's not free.
And
I mean,
many people are
Yeah.
using a different word that is solopreneur.
Yeah.
So that it sounds more professional or catchy.
Yeah, that's what. So, if you remember, I mean, from Batman, like Batman Returns or someone, when the Joker was being casted, Heath Ledger, he commented, "When you're good at something, never do it for free."
Yeah.
So,
I always say
yeah. I mean, if someone asks me to do it for free, I'm not going to do it
Mhm.
because I have spent n number of years learning that skill.
Mhm.
I've spent n number of money learning that skill, and that ROI I need to get out.
Mhm.
And if I start doing it for free, how will I feel
Yeah.
that ROI? So for the freelancers, I would say even if someone's demotivates you, don't get demotivated. I mean, there'll be people coming and going. You just need that one person who can hold you and pull you up. And sometimes, yes, money might be less.
Mhm.
You might have to take up a job for doing the money, take it, learn the experience, implement it in the next one.
Mhm.
So that once, like, I don't know what the charges are for a freelancer, but let's
that totally depends on the work and
exactly. So
what your charges are. Like if you will ask me what are my charges,
yeah,
don't
Yeah.
do that.
yeah. So let me,
Okay.
let me put it like this, right? So, at my experience, if I charge 1,000 rupees an hour,
Mhm.
right, there will be a person who will be more like as you gain more experience, you will be charging more and more. So
Mhm.
after 10 years, that 1,000 an hour can be converted to 1 lakh an hour.
Mhm.
That all depends upon the skill that you gain, and the skill you gain is always by experimenting, taking up even smallest jobs. Like you can look at any big entrepreneur.
Mhm.
He started from somewhere. Like like if we take Jeff Bezos, he's the richest man in the world right now. He started Amazon in a small room like we are right now. He started out here. His thought was to sell books. And his people, like when they were shipping, they were people like me and you who were writing code in the morning and shipping like labels in the evening, like printing them up, shipping them up, taking it to the courier services and shipping it to the people. So he started from somewhere. He struggled initially. Now he owns the market.
Yeah.
So you always have to believe in yourself. Take up small challenges, learn your skill, be an expert, and charge as much as you can after a while.
Like, I also get this question. I also believe that you should do anything for free.
Yeah.
Let's suppose I have gotten a very good opportunity, okay, and they have told, okay, you will get a very good exposure. Like I'll give you an example. I got a call from my senior. He told me that a person so and so wants to start his own food delivery business. He wants to develop an app.
Yeah.
Okay, I said okay. Firstly, why do you want to build? This was the first question. He told me this. And the second thing, please charge less. Okay, I said why? He said that you will get exposure. So I said it's been a while that I'm into the business. I have built apps, designed. I have my UX UI design team, different specialized person.
Exactly.
So what kind of exposure he will give me? So like my main question is, if you want to do it, like you should do it for free or the exposure.
Dude, I'll again put it, never do it for free. I'll again put it, like, never do it for free. Exposure, I mean, now, I don't know who was saying it to you, but if, like, the person basically owns a food service industry, right? So, a food service industry person, if says he'll give you an exposure in your field, I don't believe that. So, I would say, never do it for free. Charge something. Charge 100 rupees, but charge what you're worth for, what you feel you're worth for, or check out in the market what you're worth for. Always. So now, like yours is an established company. Like you have teams that are doing work. You cannot charge someone like, oh, okay, I'll do it for 50% off. Then how will you pay your employees, right? That will also impact you. For a freelancer, that doesn't impact them. They have to feed themselves. So I'd say if they ask for a discount, you can give some discount. I mean, it doesn't have to be 50%, but you can give some, consider them, learn that exposure, get that exposure. But if you're struggling too much as a freelancer, I would say join a company, get that extra experience, and then start up your own business again. So you can even change your paths. You don't have to be always become a freelancer. You can join a bigger company, learn that experience, then opt out. It all depends upon you. How comfortable you become.
Yeah, correct. And now you're starting a new journey in the Bangalore.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Sure. So now I got an opportunity working for a company called as Rightbot. We are still in stealth mode, so I won't be able to talk much about the company.
That's totally fine.
Yeah. So I'm joining them as an electronic lead. And we are a 10-member team right now. We are sponsored by good angel investors, SOSV, Hacks. And it's a good experience, I would say, for me even. Like, let's say, and I can give you like this, like we are getting into the field of automation. So it's needed, it's the need of the hour, I would say, automation. Because everything is changing and it's changing fast.
Yeah. And your company is building like robots?
Yes, we are into robotics.
Okay.
We are into autonomous robots. So
the autonomous robots will be where is the market?
So we are basically getting into warehousing. So I mean, I can give you a simple example. The competitor we have is, if you look into Amazon Robotics, go and Google Amazon Robotics and you'll get some videos, an idea of what our company might be doing.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm going to be building their electronics out there. Uh, and let's see how this path now unfolds. Because when you join a startup, you don't know. Every day is a new challenge.
And like I always believe, if I don't know, because I haven't got the exposure of working in a big company.
Yeah.
Because I have always dreamt of building my own company
Yeah.
as a very big company, because I want to work with big shots in the market. Okay, I want to work with the Walt Disney, Amazon, Apple, work for them. Here are my friends. They always say, "Ki you are doing very good." So it's always, I don't know, misconception whether
No.
you should join a startup or working in a big company. Like you have worked with the Cisco.
Yeah.
Okay, they are the big shots. You have worked with the Bose.
Yeah.
And now you are joining a startup.
Yeah.
And in future, you are also thinking to build your own business or do something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can properly give the limelight on this.
Yeah, sure. So think of it like this, right? In a full-time job in a bigger company versus a startup, right? Let's compare it like that.
I will
in a bigger
I will put this as my title.
Yeah. Yeah. So in a big company, you go at 9 a.m., work till 5, your job is done, you go back home, you sip your coffee, you have your dinner, you sleep, and you wake up the next day most of the time. Or sometimes you have to do extra work, extra hours, put in extra hours. It all depends on the kind of work you're doing. I'm just putting 9 to 5 job picture in your mind. It's different. I mean, I know people from Apple working 11 to 12 hours a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about the videos that they're posting? The life is very cool at the California office.
Oh boy! So
you get the perks and the benefits of working in a big company.
Yes, you do. You get a lot of perks. Like working for Bose, I got 50% off on all the Bose products. I mean, if I have to buy a Bose product off the market, I cannot buy it. I mean,
see,
buying a $300.
Let's talk. Like, who's talking? A person who is earning 6 figures is saying that I cannot own a Bose product.
No, so I mean, yes, I can, but but it's not like that. So you have to spend, right? Your housing cost in US is very high. So when you live in California and you try to get a house, it's somewhere around $2,200 to get an independent house.
Yeah.
Your overall expenditure in US is very high compared to India. So that's the difference. When you think from 6 figures from India into US, you'll see, oh, that's a very big amount. But when you're earning in US those 6 figures, you'll be an average earner. Yeah. Because 90% of the people might be earning the same figures. And so your overall costs increases.
And the living expenses. This is just a joke, because I know my brother talks to me every day.
Yeah.
I know what are his expenses.
Exactly.
And the taxes, basically the taxes and the
the taxes are crazy. I mean, I pay 33% tax on my income. Minimum.
Okay.
Apart from that, your Medicare,
your insurances.
Yeah, insurances. So let's keep that aside. But
that's a different scenario.
Yeah, but if you think about like working in a bigger company, it's a cool job. You'll get perks. You'll get, like, let me give you an example. When I was in Cisco, I saw friends from Google. Google gives you free dinner, lunch, breakfast. You have massage rooms. You have infinite, like, I think so they have some discounts on shopping and everything because it's Google. And you enjoy those perks. But after a while, those perks just feel like a perk. Like, for the first few months, you'll be like, yes, I'm getting that discount. Yes, I have that. After a year, you'll be like, oh, yeah, I have that.
Yeah. So, how learning is different?
Now you're learning from the experts in the field. You are not alone. So in a startup, it's more like it's all dependent upon you. Your success will directly impact the company. Whereas in a bigger company, your success may or may not directly impact the company.
Okay.
because you are building, let's say, 0.1 or 1% of the company's core business, whereas you're building 100% of the core business for your startup. So the impact, if you see the impact marker, a startup will have a bigger impact than a bigger company. And in a bigger company, you fall into a monotonous or like a single-minded frame set. Like you will have a defined work, and you will be doing that work for the amount of time you are there. You will be facing the same number of challenges. Like one of my mentors from Bose itself, he is a battery management guru kind of thing.
Okay.
But he's been doing that battery management stuff for how many years? 40 years now? 40 years he'll be doing the same.
40 years.
40. Yeah, he's doing the same. So he knows everything, but he's seen everything about like what a battery might face. And I asked him to, like, I was like, one thing that you learned is like only about batteries. And he was like, yeah, that's my regret. I wanted to learn about how to build a company. And I never got that experience.
So, like, it's like he's specialized in his work.
Yeah. So he just kept on doing that for years and years and years and years. Still doing that. He loves it. Obviously, he loves it. That's why he's doing it. But it's more like you fall into a routine out there, and everything is defined in a bigger company. When you join a startup, nothing is defined. You have to define what is need to be done, and that's a big challenge. I mean, if you love challenges and you don't want a stable life, join a startup.
Okay.
If you want a stable life and you want to just work for a few hours and then don't think about the work, join a big company.
Yes.
Yeah, but also remember one thing: when you join a big company, you're never gonna become an owner. And also think about the path that you follow. Like you can, the maximum you will achieve in a company is becoming a CEO. And maybe they might consider you for the board. Okay. But that is when you are almost reaching your retirement. But in a startup, you can be a CEO day one. You can be if your company succeeds, you will be the CEO till the end. I mean, look at Flipkart. Those two people who started Flipkart are billionaires right now.
And they belong to the Chandigarh.
Yeah, they both belong to
Sachin Bansal.
Yeah, Sachin
belong to the Chandigarh.
Yeah, he's from Chandigarh.
Yeah, he's from
They're from IIT Delhi. Yeah, and look at them. Both of them are billionaires. They sold their company. They're happy right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't think so. They're older than 40, 45. I don't know.
I don't know the exact age.
But yeah, they have achieved more than what they would have achieved working for a bigger company. I would put it like that.
Okay, I'll get back to the battery person. Like we always say this, we should specialize, not to generalize.
Yeah.
Your mentor has been doing the same thing for 40 years.
Yeah.
But in between, he said that he is not getting to learn something else.
Yeah.
Now we both believe in the specialization part.
Yeah.
Okay. So how you would relate this to not getting exposure from the different thing? Like I'm running a company.
Yeah.
I'm not into designing, development, research part. I'm into everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me put it like this, right? If you ask me, let me compare you and him. Let me compare him 28, like when he's 28. So, and let's see, he's an expert in battery, right? So you can apply for a job in a company starting from a CEO position to a designer position. You can apply to any of those positions right now. But my mentor, he can only apply for one position, that is a battery engineer.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You have more opportunity at your hand front right now than he has on his hands. Like, you know how to build a team. You can join core team building strategies. You can come to UI UX teams. You can join leadership teams, right? You can guide people now. So that is the kind of experience I'm talking about. Like you have more exposure than of how a company needs to run than an employee. An employee always does his work as long as money is given to him, right? But for you, you know how to run a company.
Yeah.
So basically that's the difference. Employees are followers.
Okay.
Like people like you are leaders.
And in a startup, those who joined them, or the team members, get to know each and everything, the
Yeah.
insights, inside and out of everything, what is going in the company, from where the projects are coming,
Yeah.
what kind of funds they are getting.
Yeah.
Not everything, but I think 70 to 80% will be exposed to them.
Oh yeah, so obviously, so for me right now, I know every nitbit, like not everything, but almost 70% of, even though I haven't even joined the company, I'm going to join the company. I know about most of the parts of the company. And so let me put it like this. I'm joining a pre-seeded company. So it's in its very nascent stage. It's in early stages right now. But there are other startups that you can join. Like there are people who are startups in Series A funding already. Series A, B, C are different fundings that come into picture. You can go for that, and people will evaluate your company accordingly, and you can join them. But think of it like this. So for me, I want to join a core team. You won't be in the core team. You might be the 100th employee. That's a big achievement. But still, you won't learn how to build a company from scratch.
So this is the drawback of working in a big company.
Yes, exactly. You are being spoon fed from a company which is established. You have a back. The good thing, I would say, working for a bigger company is, I know I will get a paycheck even after a month from now. In a startup, you don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get my next paycheck or not. I know I will, but yeah, I know my company is well funded. But in most of the startups, you don't know if you'll get the next paycheck or not.
Yeah, like I still remember when I hired the first person.
Yeah.
I was not sure whether from where his salary will be put it out. I said, let's see
Yeah,
where things are
exactly.
going.
Exactly.
And now everything is going great.
Yeah, exactly. So it all matters. Like you have to keep that things in mind. You are taking up when you join a startup or when you join a company, like a smaller company. Basically, you have to join them not only for the good times but also for the bad times.
For the bad times.
So that's my thought right now. It's like I'm not joining the startup only for remaining with them for the good times right now. If we face some challenges or if there's a bad time, I'll be there with this company.
Yeah, it's like I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Exactly. So if you're doing freelancing, I would say don't think much on bigger picture. It will be like you will get somewhere.
Focus on the learning part more.
Yeah, if you're a new freelancer, if you're an old, profound freelancer, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Then yes, you can think about like not charging. Then there's no thing about getting exposure.
Like many people ask for this question, like why are in Seoul and not in the metro cities? I said location doesn't matter. My clients are satisfied with my work. They are from the US and Australia.
I mean that question is answered during this COVID times. Everyone is working from home.
Working from home. Even we are also working.
Exactly. Everyone's working from home. So think of it like this. I mean, your question is already answered.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. I mean, if people ask you in future about this, you can just refer to 2020. You can say, what happened in 2020?
Even the Slack was most used.
Oh, yeah.
And the Zoom, the rise of Zoom.
Rise of
used to
Zoom.
make it in the Business Insider.
Exactly.
It was everywhere.
It's more, right now, it's more about technology. Earlier on, it was more about, I mean, the people who ask us like, oh, you can work from home for so long. How is it possible? Because we have been tuned to do that.
Like most of the company, in the IT profession, they say you get a chance to work from home. So it's like we have been trained like this.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter.
Exactly. I mean, so just imagine the bigger companies are forcing you to come to office then. If I put it like this. if they know everything can be worked remotely, they're just making you to come to a place.
No, but
Yeah, I'm
you
just
should
joking
have-
on that front, but yeah, you need to go to office.
You need a good
Yeah,
office. You need a good environment.
Yeah.
You need the proper resources.
Exactly.
So the companies are providing you those resources.
Yes.
So that you can give your 100% and work efficiently.
Yeah. I mean, you cannot collapse. So you need to see a person. I would say like that. I cannot. I was on a breakdown if in US if I hadn't seen a person. Like we were having all remote meetings. Everything was remote. Even though we were talking to people, but
You need to
yeah, when you see someone on a laptop compared to when sitting in person, it's a very different thing. You can discuss more. You can have more thoughts in the picture. You can go to his desk and say, "Yes, this is what I want to do," rather than just sitting in your house and texting them. See, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
It's a very different feel.
Yeah, like it's like you're having a client meeting.
Yeah.
It will be more impactful if you are in front of them,
Exactly.
rather than sitting behind the screen.
Yeah. I mean, I still remember after a while, I would just get up, turn on my laptop, and I'll be like, yeah, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I'll just get ready. Yeah. So that's the perks, man. It all depends upon bigger company versus smaller company. I mean, I would focus more on learn more, so that so now I believe in that phase which our parents used to say. Like they used to say, "Abhi पढ़ ले, बाद में पढ़ना नहीं पड़ेगा." It's the same thought but in a different wording. It's like just learn or work right now. After a while, there'll be a time when you don't have to work. But always focus on enjoyment. Work is part of it, but enjoyment is always secondary. Like it should be there on your list.
And how do you put this thing? If you want to do something extra and you have a 9 to 5 job,
Yeah.
how do you manage that?
So I have a very different routine. For me, I usually wake up at 5. And
So do you plan your whole week or?
No, I don't plan my whole week, dude. It's very tough to plan a week.
Okay.
Planning a day is also tough because sometimes the scenario keeps on changing. But I try to keep what I've planned in the morning. Like I know what my tasks will be for today. I need to finish them at least. If something else comes in, I have time for that too. So typically, I wake up at 5. I was going to gym. Now I don't anymore. Even though my office timings were 9 a.m., I used to reach there around 6:37, like 7. Sorry, not 6:30, 7 o'clock, 7 a.m. Work till 3:34, and I had the whole evening to me. So yeah, whatever I needed to do extra, I would do it in that time.
So it's kind of planning.
Yeah, it's kind of planning.
Yeah. Like you are managing your time so that you get a proper utilization of yourself into stuff that you want to do.
Exactly. It all depends upon the time management. Time management skill is something that you learned over years, and I'm still learning.
Yeah. Even I'm also learning. I have to handle so many things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get into that phase pretty soon. But yeah.
Like, let me give you some insights.
Yeah.
Like, you will be joining the startup.
Yeah.
You will not be handling one thing. Okay. You have to handle the marketing team, the sales team, the designing team, the development team. What operations will be required? You have to go into the field also.
Yeah.
So 6 things. Or
we don't even know. 6 plus more.
6, 10, don't know.
Yeah. It all depends, man. That's why I told it's a new challenge, and I like to push my limits. Sometimes it's as I said earlier on, Elon Musk was one of my I envision him as one of the motivators right now. So he gave a very good insight. In a startup, you have to work 100 hours a week. Because every other company or a big company is working 40 hours a week. So you have to double your efficiency no matter what happens to achieve what they're achieving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you like to put your journey in one word?
Oh, it's been amazing.
And Yeah, that's it. How what is the best advice you would like to give to designing and the creative community? Basically, the creative community.
Yeah. So even though you might be less valued at this point, there'll be a time when your demands will rise. It all matters. So think of it like this. Uh, Before computers, no one knew what a software engineer did. Right now, he's on a boom because everyone was introduced to technology. Similarly, there'll be a time when creative people will be needed more than an engineer. So keep your hands tight. Might be a few years tight. Keep your hopes high. Uh, Whenever you need advice, go to the best person you feel. I mean, I feel my parents are the best for me, so I usually go to my parents. Go to go to whosoever gives you the best advice, and
Without,
always
giving the best advice without judging you.
yeah, without judging you, and always do time management with uh, market study. Do proper market study before you approach your clients or even when you start your work. That's all the advice I think so. From even though from a different background I can give because those rules also follow to us.
No, but the same
Yeah.
thing, like make your charts.
Yeah.
Okay, make your decisions wisely.
Yeah, exactly. Make your decisions is what I would say.
Okay, so I think let's end this session.
Awesome.
And it was, I think, very insightful, and our listeners will definitely get help. And how people can contact you if you want to, even though you're not from the same community, but
Yeah,
for
I mean-
the time management and want to get advice from you and any kind of consultations they want to get.
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. You can type me Naman Vaidya on LinkedIn, and hopefully I'll be there with a smiling picture. You can send me a request. I always send when you send a request, always send a small message.
Send a note.
Yeah, send a note so that I know what you're approaching for because sometimes there are people who just approach you for
Connections. Just to add
yeah.
the links.
Add the links, and sometimes I don't add people with very less connections because I also have to save my connections too.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say send a note so that I know what you're connecting it for, and I like to connect and give my feedback wherever I'm helpful.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Ankit, for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Thanks for giving your views. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for joining me. Let's wrap up the show, and if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to resolve them as soon as I can. Do follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can continue to create content for you guys which will help you in running design business successfully.